I'm Sally, a BFA 3 character animation student, and today I have with me Maija.
Hi Sally, hi everyone. I'm Maija Burnette, Director of the Character Animation Program.
That's amazing. We love Maija and the amazing work that she does in character animation.
Likewise.
We want to start out with just if you could introduce the work that you do in character animation and what your mission is for your work.
Totally. Gosh, every day is different, but really in an overall sense, it's about shepherding the curriculum for the program and making sure our students get what they need. So it's very much curricular, but then also we love all the other things we do that add to the curriculum. A lot of different sorts of planning that happens throughout the year that I work with our operations team on and our technical team on. And like I said, truly every day is different, and that's actually one part of the job I really, really love. I will also just add that this is a very precious program, and it is my deepest honor to be working with this program and students like yourself. So it is, every day is really special.
Yeah. What do you think is the most unique part of the character animation program at CalArts?
It's such a tough question to answer. The most unique part, I think that there's so many different ways to answer this. One way is simply the community. The community is such an incredible community of very driven, creative artists, and that goes to students, faculty, staff, the administration. Everyone involved is a highly creative person and very invested in everyone else's success, and that is such a special aspect of this program. On the curricular side, it's I think in part it's the fact that our students make one film every year, which I know you are currently in the process of doing, as we are currently in crunch time. And so making a film every year is a very difficult task, but you've probably heard me say this, the film is our greatest teacher. And I say that as a teacher. It tells us so much, both about the filmmaking process, but also about ourselves as artists and animators and filmmakers, how we tell stories, how we convey our ideas, both overtly and in a subtle kind of sense as well. So I think that's a really unique aspect. And then maybe the last thing out of many other things I could say is just that, in a very digital world, obviously we do so much digital work, but at every year level in our program, we teach hand-drawn character animation. It is digital, but the process is the traditional way. And so having that through the 4 years is not only an amazing foundation for our students, but it's also preserving a really important art form.
Yeah.
So
exactly. We're learning a lot of 2D fundamentals, and it's definitely been a skill in an area that I grew a lot in over the years at CalArts.
Amazing.
And you've made films when you were a student too.
Yes, I did.
You studied at UCLA. Can you talk a little bit about what drove you originally to I want to study animation?
It's a very good question. Multiple things come to mind. At a very basic kind of level, I always love art making and music making, and I loved the fact that animation combines the two. Music, maybe I should say sound as a whole, but for me specifically as a younger person, and still now, it's really the sort of marriage of those two aspects that pulled me towards it. It's also, having grown up in Canada, as a Canadian, I was exposed to a lot of National Film Board of Canada films, NFB, and even in the classroom, they would show us, and I fell in love with animation at a very young age, seeing that, and especially seeing different techniques, paint on glass, sand animation, hand-drawn, of course. So it was really through seeing that and then understanding that you could bring both the visual and the sonic fields together to make a film that really cinched it for me.
Yeah, totally. And of course, education versus animation is very different kind of fields. What made you kind of go into education after that?
Well, I must credit both my parents, who are lifelong educators, and I think I tried to go the other direction for a while, and then I just realized this is the space that I love the most, that I thrive the best in, that I feel I can contribute the most to. And so, yeah, I really credit my parents, and I'm very, very, very fortunate to have grown up with two teachers, and I got to witness, you know, lots of their teachings. I would sit in the classroom as a young kid watching them, and so yeah, definitely came from that. And I think, how do I say, I love the dynamic aspect of colleges, you know, of higher education, and especially a place like CalArts where we have a lot of latitude with our curriculum, we have a lot of latitude with what we can do in the classroom, and that to me is really, really exciting, and I love the fact that that's ever changing.
Yeah. Can you talk about 3 of your top memories from your time at CalArts?
Oh my God. There's just too many. Let's see. Okay, I was trying to think about this. So, well, first of all, in a general sense, like not a specific memory, but a general sense, every single time we have a screening of a film together, that's a core memory that builds upon other core memories. We just saw, you know, Hoppers on Friday as a group. There is nothing like seeing an animated film with character animation students at CalArts.
The reactions are really strong.
It's amazing. Another specific memory similar to that was 10 years ago already. We got to see Inside Out a few days before it came out in theaters. Pete Docter and Michael Giacchino, Pete Docter's director, Michael Giacchino, the composer, were here.
Oh my God.
And hearing our students, like being in the room in the Bijou with our students as we all watched the film, and then hearing our students kind of reacting to the film was, because it's a very emotional film. Yeah. It was really intense. And then having Pete and Michael there after to talk about the film and answer questions, it was really a very special experience. So that's among, you know, real top memories. Yeah. The very first open show that I went to, and for anyone who doesn't know, the open show is our big year-end screening of all of our students' films. It's 7 to 8 hours over 2 nights. So the very first year I was teaching here, I kind of like snuck into the open show, and I'd never been before. I didn't really know what to expect, and to hear the students' reactions to their classmates' films and the support, but also just like the energy, which continues to this day with you and your classmates, like without even knowing that that's how it was before, you know, it's a really exceptional experience. So that's that first one. Okay, there's one other memory that comes to mind as well. So many years ago, I taught a class called Superheroes inside the Bat Cave.
Interesting.
Totally. Whereupon I discovered my students knew a whole lot more than I did about superheroes.
That makes sense.
It was a really fun class, and shout out to anyone from that class who might be watching this. One of my favorite sort of memories that really sticks in my mind from that class was, so one day we decided to listen to superhero scores, like the soundtracks, with the visuals off. So we just played the music. And I remember, so we started off, I was picking the films. So we started off, I put in, it was like a DVD or maybe a Blu-ray, I don't know. But I put it in, I had the visuals off, and then within seconds, they called it. And it was like Lara Croft Tomb Raider was the film. Wow. I was just the fact that everyone was so steeped in filmmaking, in, you know, in the audio aspect, the music, like, and they could just identify it like that was amazing. And anyway, so that's just like one memory from that one class. So it was really fun. Oh, one other quick memory. A year ago, I have this newer class called Group Independent Studies, where everyone does their own independent work on a topic that they haven't had a chance to study yet or do practice yet here at CalArts that they want to do. And we did, with our class last year, we did a song. Really? Where we sort of just spontaneously recorded what everyone was doing, and one of our students like edited it on the spot in GarageBand. It was really fun. So I have it on my phone and listen to it periodically. So that was very core memory too.
That is amazing.
Thank
Sounds
you.
like an amazing class.
Totally.
At CalArts, obviously, you also have to prepare students for the industry, which is always changing all the time. Could you talk a little bit about, what do you see the animation industry going in the next maybe 1 year or 5 years? What are your general thoughts on it? Yeah, thanks.
That is the question of the moment, for sure. Where are things going? I think it's a very complex question. I appreciate you asking it. And myself and our faculty and our dean are in constant conversation about it. And I'm always kind of trying to pull information from the internet and just talking to people. I'm not sure I can quite sort of say, but I do feel strongly that independent work is really important, and I hope it'll continue to rise in importance. Indie work as we keep moving, and I hope that that's recognized even more, out in the world, and also independent techniques and approaches too. And I'm really excited by some of our recent alums who started their own animation studios, and they're doing amazing things. And so I have a lot of excitement and hope around that. Something else, maybe not in terms of the future exactly, but just something else that we talk about a lot in our classes and with mentees and stuff, is that it's really important to think about one's own path, in the next 5 and 10 years, and to chart out what one wants to do. One of our teachers, who teaches our entrepreneurial studies class, one of her assignments, there's an option to do a 5-year plan. And I think that's so great and so smart. And I think it's really important that we project ahead and say, what do we want to do, and what do we want to accomplish at this point and at that point? And whether we reach those goals or not is in a way secondary. It's really the idea of projecting ahead and planning, and that I think really helps to sort of put it in writing, in front of us. And so in classes, we talk a lot about how to also try to think broadly to set oneself up for success, and there's so many different ways to do that. And one way is to kind of diversify how one brings in income. And so we talk a lot about passive income and things we can do, to help augment whatever our full-time job might be. And so that's very much on my mind as well, as far as, how we talk about the future too.
Exactly. It does feel like once you get higher up in your grade, you realize, animation is animation, but you also have like the job aspect and all the skills you have to build up to that. So
totally.
It's great that we do have classes where we deal with these issues or like learn about how to solve those.
Absolutely. And of course, I forgot to mention Portfolio Day, which is our very high touch kind of in-person, and it's about 80% in-person, 20% remote event where we bring in the animation studios. And that's a really important point in time that every student in our program has access to, from the first year to the 4th year, and even 1 year after graduating. To interact with the animation studios. And there's also various companies that come too that do animation or need animation or illustration. There's such a kind of wide application of all of the skills that you as a student and all of our students develop in the program. So Portfolio Day is, very important way that we build these connections, all of us, and then for the producer show too, which is our year-end faculty curated screening, faculty juried screening of our students' films, is another place where we bring the industry, students, staff, faculty, alumni, friends, family together to celebrate, the films that are in the show, but also all of the films that our students have made that year.
Yeah, those 2 events are definitely so special to me as well, and to a lot of my friends, because we get to talk to so many people as well. And it's just been really, I never imagined I'd be able to talk to so many people working in the industry or so many artists. So that has been a very valuable part of the experience.
I'm really glad.
We're going to circle back to filmmaking, because that's such a big part of what we do here at CalArts. If someone is embarking on their journey of creating a film, what advice do you typically give to students about that?
I was just meeting with one of my mentees yesterday, and we were just chatting. I think I would divide it up between the, let's say, like storytelling and conceptual side versus the technical side.
Okay.
On the conceptual side, you know, I would say it's really important to tell a story that, you know, one feels strongly about and that one connects with and that one can work on for 9 months or so.
That's important.
And to know that we'll go through a lot of ups and downs with it. Some days we'll love it, some days we'll hate it. In the end, it's great. You know, I tell students too that because of that kind of roller coaster, there can be a tendency when one finishes a film to kind of just be like, I don't ever want to look at this again. You might have you felt that?
Sometimes.
It's because it's just such a journey to make a film. And I always say, try to take the really long view because sure, that's a very valid feeling in the moment. But a year later, when you look back at it, you not only appreciate it, but then you see so many things in it that you may not have even noticed you did as you were making it. 5 years later, you look back at it, and it's a whole different experience to see it, and you even further kind of sense and see all that you put into it that you probably couldn't in the moment, you know? So I try to really just give that long view. And on a technical side, I just try to remind everyone, like, back up your work, back it up in multiple places, excuse me. And I also recommend like versioning up where, you know, you're working, let's say in a TV Paint or Harmony or After Effects file today. In a couple days, do save as and save it as version 2 or 3 or 10 or whatever it is. And just so you have older versions to go back to in case anything happens. So I recommend being very prudent kind of, you know, in that way. And the last quick thing I'll say is the amazing thing about films is every film is different, and I kind of compare a film to an invention. Like you're inventing your own story, you're inventing your own characters, you're inventing your own process for doing it that probably nobody has ever done exactly in that same way. And so as a filmmaker, you're an inventor, and that's very powerful.
Exactly. Everyone's pipelines are so different, and then I think this year a lot of people are kind of incorporating CG and Blender things behind, and then it's just really cool to see how they're working through the pipeline and experimenting.
Totally.
Very inspired by our fellow classmates.
It's going to be amazing to see your film and your classmates' films at the end of the year coming up soon.
Is Open Show your next excitement of the school year?
Yes, Open Show, and then Producer Show, which follows very quickly on its heels. After, some people have heard me say this before, but after every Producer Show, like I love the Producer Show. It's such an amazing experience every year. But then I'm always like, I'm like 364 days until the next one. Now I'm like, wait, oh no, there's only 60 days or so till however many days. But it's a big build up to it, but yeah, it's amazing. What I love too about the show, I mean, there's so many aspects of it that I love, but I also just love how the community comes to the event, and I love how our students at the show react to the films, and then how the community sort of witnesses that and witnesses that support and witnesses the excitement. You know, it's very special.
Exactly. Well, that's all the questions that I had. Thank you so much, Maija. And
Thank you, Sally.
It's been so good to talk to you.
Likewise, thank you for interviewing me. Good luck with your film.